Hey guys, this is my first video, and in this video I'll be teaching you the basics of C++ and how to make your first C++ program. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so I'm using VS Code, but you can use any IDE you want. And I've made a folder here, and I'm going to make a first file. Okay, and this file will be called first, because this is the first program. So the file extension for C++ is CPP, and that's the most widely known and widely accepted extension, but you can use CP, C, C++, or CP, anything that works, but mainly we use CPP. Okay, so after you've created the file, I want you to type hashtag include greater than symbol IOStream and then less than symbol. Okay, so what this does is it is a header file, and it includes a library IOStream, which allows us to use input and output. Okay, and then after that, in the second line, I want you to type using namespace std and semicolon, and this allows us to use names from the standard library. And okay, so basically what this does is it allows us to write cout. Okay, let's write our first okay, actually let's write int main, and this is the main function. It's automatically called by C++, and to write it, we write the integer, right, int main, the function name, followed by parentheses, then these curly braces. So whatever is inside these curly braces is what's the definition of the main function, whatever is being run by the main function, and we don't need to call this function because it's the main function is automatically called by C++. And okay, so I'll break this down in like a minute, but first let's write cout followed by the sign here, and then quotes, and write hello world. Okay, and then semicolon. So what this does, it outputs hello world into the output, and it stands for character output. Okay, not console output, character output. Okay, so now we gotta type return 0, because basically what this int means is that this function main will return 0 or return an integer. And what the computer is thinking right now is when the main function returns 0, it was successful basically. But if it returns any other integer, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, any number, then it didn't work successfully. So the integer is saying that it will return an integer. If I typed here string, then this would basically return a string. But this is the main function, and the main function usually returns integer, so you type int there. Okay. Now that this is working, we should just type. Not type. We'll just run the program, and you should see hello world here. Okay, and let's get back to here. So using namespace, what that does is allows us to write cout without the need of typing std : So the reason we were to type std : is because the cout text is from, or cout name is from the standard library, and if we didn't include the standard library namespace, not in the library, standard namespace, then we would just have to type this every single time we use cout or cin. Cin is character input. I'll talk about that later. But basically, this is what the use case is for using namespace. Okay. Now let's cover data types. So there are some data types in C++, obviously. The first one is int, we're talking about. Integer is like any number from negatives to positives, no decimals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, or -1, -2, like that. And there's strings. Strings are actually not a default data type in C++. They're actually only characters, which is called char or char. And what strings are is multiple characters. So strings are actually not a built-in data type in C++. It's actually just a bunch of characters, but that doesn't make a difference. Okay, next are floats. Floats are basically decimal numbers, like 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, like on and on. But the thing is, there's another data type that includes decimals and it's called double. And the difference between these two is that double includes lets you use more than one. Lets you use more than one. Not more than one. Multiple decimals. And basically, in integers allow you to use 4 bytes. Floats allow you to use 8 bytes. I'm pretty sure, or I think 5 to 7 or something. But basically, the thing to know is that double allows you to write way more or save up way more decimal numbers. So if you had the integer, you can use about I think from my common knowledge, integer allows you to have up to 2 billion, or negative 2 billion to positive 2 billion, and floats. I'm not sure about this one, but you can write way more in double. Double is basically just allows you to have more precise numbers. Okay, so now that that's covered, let's go on to double, and let's see. I think that's all actually. Okay, let's go on to making, writing inputs. Okay, to write an input, you just type CIN, but instead of using this symbol here, you use this symbol here, and that does, it's called an insertion operator, and that allows you to take input from a variable. Okay. Oh, I forgot to talk about variables. Okay. And now let's talk about variables, which is also important, very important. To make a variable, you type the data type name. So if you want to have a variable that stores numbers, integers, you type int, then the variable name, which is, I'll just type num, and then semicolon. This basically what this does, it initializes the variable num, and allows me to use it for later scenarios. So if I want num to equal 7, I can just type 7 and type semicolon, and now num equals 7. But I can also just directly type it in the initialization itself, so I can say num equals 7 here. And then if I want to see out or character out num, let's just type num here, and then I'll get the thing 7. Okay, let's just include that into here. Okay, now if I want to have strings, I can type string, but all these strings are in quotes. So whenever you write a string, it's always in double quotes, not single quotes, and you can type in hello world or just hello. I'm gonna say hello now, and just types hello. Okay. Let's go on to input now. So when I make an input, when I want to take a user input, I first need to store that input into a variable. And so that variable, if I want to get the input of how many books you have, I can say int books, right? And then I can type in CIN, the insertion operator, which is this symbol, not this one. This is the one for cout. Okay, so insertion operator. And then we can type in the variable books, and then I can output this symbol, and I can type in books, and then so for cout I can actually type this twice, and that will allow me to write books, and then write books like this in semicolon. So this is like concatenation, but like with there's multiple of these instead of plus signs. I can also just type strings here, books, that will work too. And okay, so I'll put a space here because this thing won't add an automatic space. So to make it look neat, I would type in a space here. So then when I have the variable output the number of books the user has, then the space would be there to make it look neater. Okay, let me type 4. You have 4 books. Nice. Okay, so now you see like when the program runs, we don't know what like to do, because like the user wouldn't know what to do. So we should type C out, and say enter how many books let me just ask a question. How many books do you have? And then, so once this is outputted, the user enters the number of books they have, and then it'll be outputted. They'll get the output of you have this many books. Okay, so let's run this program. There'll actually be one problem with this program, and I'll tell you after the program is run. So here, how many books do you have? I have 7 books now, and you have 7 books. Okay. And actually, the problem, there's no problem. Okay, but basically, when you have two, like say if I want to have this. Okay, I just got rid of the input, but you'll see why later. I'll just for the sake of just showing you a problem with using 2 couts. So if I have this here, you'll see that in the output it shows how many books do you have, and in the same line it shows you have books, blank. And the reason why is because cout doesn't automatically put the next one on the new line, so you'll have to do that manually. And to do that, you have to use this thing, which is the insertion operator again, and then type in \new line. This allows us to add a new line, so telling the computer to add a new line, put the cursor on a new line, and then output this line here. So then it'll be on separate lines. So if we rerun this, you'll see that now we have how many books do you have, and you have this many books. Okay. The reason why it already did that for us when you use the input line is because the input already does it by itself. Okay, let's see. And now you see that how many books do you have is on the next line because I added this. So now the cursor is already on this line when I run the program. So I press 7 again. You have 7 books. Where is the 7? Oh yeah, I forgot to add this thing. Okay. I have 7 books. And so it shows me I have 7 books. Okay. So the program ran successfully. This concludes my video. Thank you guys for watching.